everyone, welcome back to my channel. Guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. So guys, tomorrow being 26th of September 2025, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to appear in court. Yes, Abuja High Court. Justice James Omotocho is going to rule on the no case submission. It is important to talk about the proscription of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, by the Nigerian government, because it remains one of the most contested legal and human rights issue of our time. So guys, quickly, let's take a look at this video. Listen carefully and I'll be right back.
And joining us today from the nation's capital, Abuja, to discuss this is Mr. Pelumi Olajengbesi. He's a human rights lawyer. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What do you think about this development?
Well, the development we're seeing recently, in every democracy, the principle of rule of law is of utmost importance, and every government must ensure that the whole of government business must be in confines with the rule of law. And so what we have seen recently, particularly as it affects the crisis between IPOB and the Nigerian army, is a flagrant abuse of our law. It ultraviolates the provision of our constitution and other penal law that guides the operation of the Nigerian government and of course the Nigerian army. The Nigerian army invaded IPOB, labeled IPOB a terrorist group. The law has made provision on how to go about this. To start with, number one, the Nigerian army does not have the right to carry out the assignment they did, because it is solely an exclusive assignment of the Nigerian police force. And so the Nigerian army cannot take over the assignment, the responsibility of the Nigerian police force in an attempt to make the government or in an attempt to glorify a particular person. So I believe strongly that what the Nigerian army has done is against our law, and it's very, very dangerous for our democracy, because it's a mockery of the system of government we practice in the general public and of course in the global world. We're in a situation whereby we are seen to abuse the law. Or when you look at the grounds or the reasons why the Nigerian army labeled this organization a terrorist group, you will understand that all of these reasons are not within the confines of the law. The law made it very, very clear that for an organization to be proscribed or to be labeled as a terrorist organization, there are procedures that must be followed. Number one, the Inspector General of Police or the AG, that's the Attorney General of Police, or the NSA, the National Security Advisor, is supposed to prepare an application to the courts, and the judge in chamber can grant that application. However, such an application must receive the endorsement of the president, and that's the provision of the law. As the judge has the responsibility to check the basis and the grounds of this application. We must be able to differentiate between civil disobedience and of course civil disobedience and terrorism. There are laws on ground to checkmate people who have done things that are contrary to our laws. We have the law that has to do with treason. We have the law that has to do with murder. We have the law that has to do with civil disobedience and all of that. So I believe strongly that if an individual or a group of individuals has done something contrary to our laws, such people must be treated within the confines of the law. However, proscribing the organization or declaring the organization is a deliberate celebration of ignorance, which is very, very terrible. So I think it is important that the Nigerian government should review our action. The Nigerian army quickly rushed to the public to declare this organization a terrorist group without consulting the requirement, the position of the law, to understand what exactly should be done. Now, in my own view, I believe that this is a pressure group who they have a responsibility to make demands. Looking at some of the statements and some of the actions of IPOB, talking about hoisting their flag in public.
But what about where, Mr. Olajengbesi, I need to come in here. What about where safety is concerned? This is not the first python dance the Nigerian army had. This is the second, and the rationale is to flush out criminals from the southeast.
Yeah, the business of the Nigerian army is not to flush out criminals in the society. The Nigerian police force have an exclusive duty, looking at our constitution section 215 sub 3 specifically, mandated the Nigerian police force with the instruction of the Nigerian president to ensure that public safety of property is guaranteed, is secured in our society. So when you talk about public safety, it is an exclusive assignment that has been vested in the Nigerian police force. The Nigerian army can't take over the Nigerian police force. They were not trained to work within the human or the community system. They are trained to fight war. So it is only in a situation where there is insurrection, that is when the Nigerian army can step in with the direction of the president. However, when you are talking about public safety, the Nigerian Police Force is an organization where you look at the Nigerian Police Act, they have the sole responsibility to ensure that there is public safety is guaranteed. And all of this must be done within the confines of our law.
But what about the Southeast governors? They did what they did in the interest of the people.
The Southeast governors?
Yes.
Well, what the Southeast governor did also is political anyway, but it's not in confines with the law. The Southeast governor declared in public that IPOB activities has been proscribed. In the first place, IPOB was not registered under the Southeast governor. The Southeast governor is not a constitutional organization, is not the constitution of Nigeria. The Southeast governor have no business. Our law says that every group of persons have a right to organize themselves, have a right to freedom of association, and they have a right of expression. However, in the course of carrying out all of this right, if there is any way they've actually breached the laws of the land, the Nigerian police force have a duty to arrest such person, investigate such an act, and also prosecute such person. When you look at a situation whereby the Nnamdi Kanu as a person is going through a prosecutable process, I think it is important that we allow this process to continue than jumping the guns and doing some of the things we are doing currently. So the Southeast governor also did that from their own thinking, but it was quite wrong. It's against our law, it's against our constitution, and it has no place in the history of Nigerian politics.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We have been speaking with human rights lawyer Mr. Pelumi Olajengbesi.
So guys, in 2017, the Nigerian government declared IPOB a terrorist organization. According to Abuja, the group's activities were deemed a threat to national security, unity and public peace. However, many activists and legal experts argued that the decision was rushed, unconstitutional and fundamentally flawed. Biafran activists, recently ignited this debate, emphasizing the illegality of the proscription. Now, he insists that the Nigerian government failed to follow due legal processes and that IPOB, in its essence, is a self-determination movement recognized under international law as a legitimate struggle. Self-determination is enshrined in Article 20 of the African Chapter on Human Rights and People's Rights, which Nigeria has ratified. Activists argue that criminalizing IPOB is not only unconstitutional but also a violation of international human rights treaties. This case has drawn international attention. Global organizations such as Amnesty International, the European Commission, and human rights lawyers, has been tagged as well in calls for intervention. The question is no longer just about IPOB, it's about Nigerians' adherence to rule of law, democracy, and respect of dissenting voices. Legal experts argue that the Nigerian government bypassed constitutional safeguards. For a group to be legitimately proscribed, due process must involve clear evidence of terrorism-related activities and a judicial verdict to date. Activists claim these criteria were never properly satisfied, and the Nigerian Senate has also faced criticisms for remaining largely silent on the issue. Many citizens believe that, political interest overshadowed justice, creating more mistrust between the government and the people of the Southeast. The proscription has had severe consequences: increased militarization of the Southeast, rising insecurity, human rights abuses, and deepened ethnic mistrust. Instead of silencing IPOB, the government's action seems to have amplified their cause internationally. Across the diaspora, the Biafran struggle continues to gain momentum. Activists abroad are lobbying foreign governments, demanding international recognition of IPOB's right to exist and operate peacefully. IPOB proscription controversy is not just a legal battle. It is a moral test for Nigeria. Can a country that prides itself on being Africa's largest democracy suppress the right to self-determination? Or will dialogue, reconciliation, and respect for international law chart the path to peace? Guys, let me know what you think about this under the comment section. Several human rights lawyers point out that the Federal High Court ruling of 2017, which proscribed IPOB, has been criticized for being obtained experts, thus without IPOB's legal representation present. So this raises question about whether due process was actually followed. And also, Nigerians often ask, why was IPOB proscribed? But other violent groups such as armed bandits, herdsmen, militias, and insurgents in the north are not labeled as terrorists with the same urgency. Now, the truth is, this perceived double standard. This is actually a matter of double standard. Fueling or it fuels, this double standard actually fuels the feelings of marginalization. So the proscription has created an environment where peaceful assembly, from free speech and even cultural expression in the southeast are sometimes branded as terrorism. So guys, what do you think about this? Having heard all this, what do you think about this? What's your thoughts? What's your opinion? What's your takes? Let me know that under the comment section. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video for more updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.